Was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. It was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent.
Guilty! Count 22! Guilty! Count 23! Guilty!
The Supreme Court will probably give him a pass. But for one day, we can look at this. And this is not just Republicans or Democrats. This is about the kingdom of God. They made this man out of a latter-day Jesus Christ. They told me that over there. And I told them he's got the spirit of the Antichrist. They made this man out of a latter-day Jesus Christ. They told me that over there. And I told them he's got the spirit of the Antichrist. They made this man out of a latter-day Jesus Christ. They told me that over there. And I told them he's got the spirit of the Antichrist.
The Trump supporters here, they were in good spirits despite this guilty verdict. They say that they believe this is all going to work out in benefit of the former president.
I am more proud of him today than ever, and I love his composure. I think that it has given Trump a great advantage. We're coming to take the country back with President Trump.
If you fuck around with us, if you do something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before. If you fuck around with us, if you do something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before.
I went to January the 6th. Give me liberty or give me death. Even Mother Teresa could not get out from under that.
Like titanium, they're convinced hush money payments charges against the former president were an abuse of power to begin with.
I don't think he did anything wrong.
They're also convinced Trump will eventually come out victorious.
Surely these things will all be overturned.
And as far as the race for president,
I don't think it's going to help him or hurt him. Not at all.
What goes on? What goes on? He's in there. He's in there right now. He's in there. Same thing. Take me instead. Arrest me instead.
This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. It's a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a venue change. We were at 5% or 6% in this district, in this area. This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people. And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here. You have a Soros-backed DA, and the whole thing, we didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man, and it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. It was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. It was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. And I think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end and we'll win, because our country's gone to hell. We don't have the same country anymore. We have a divided mess. We're a nation in decline, serious decline. Millions and millions of people pouring into our country right now from prisons and from mental institutions, terrorists, and they're taking over our country. We have a country that's in big trouble, but this was a rigged decision right from day one with a conflicted judge who should have never been allowed to try this case, never. And we will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
Why should voters vote for a convicted felon? taking no questions. The former president now about to leave the courthouse. His remarks very similar to what we've heard during other appearances at the courthouse and, frankly, during appearances at some of the rallies he's been able to fit in around.
I have to say, though, the demeanor grim and angry and clearly the weight.
I love this city. I love this city. I don't want to destroy it. Donald Trump wants to destroy not only the city, but the country, and eventually he could destroy the world.
All the armies of Europe, Asia, and Africa could not by force take a drink from the Ohio River or make a track on the Blue Ridge in a trial of 1,000 years. If destruction be our lot, we must ourselves be its author and finisher. As a nation of free men, we must live through all time or die by suicide. Our devotion to money and guns and conspiracies, our certainty about everything, our stubborn insistence on our own exceptionalism, blinding us to that which needs repair, especially with regard to race and ethnicity. Our preoccupation with always making the other wrong at an individual as well as a global level. History is tragedy, Stone admonished him, not melodrama. It's the perfect response. In melodrama, all villains are perfectly villainous and all heroes are perfectly virtuous. But life is not like that. You know that in your guts, and nor is our history like that. At what point shall we expect the approach of danger, he asked his audience. Shall we expect some transatlantic military giant to step the earth and crush us at a blow? Then he answered his own question. Never. All the armies of Europe, Asia, and Africa could not by force take a drink from the Ohio River or make a track on the Blue Ridge in a trial of 1,000 years. If destruction be our lot, we must ourselves be its author and finisher. As a nation of free men, we must live through all time or die by suicide. It is a stunning, remarkable statement, one that has animated my own understanding of the American experience since I first read it more than 40 years ago. That young man was, of course, Abraham Lincoln, and he would go on to preside over the closest this country has ever come to near national suicide, our Civil War. I realized that multitudes and multitudes of people, for various reasons of their own, enslaved themselves every hour of every day to this or that doctrine, this or that delusion of safety, this or that lie. Anti-Semites, for example, he went on, are slaves to a delusion. People who hate Negroes are slaves. People who love money are slaves. We are living in a universe really of willing slaves, which makes the concept of liberty and the concept of freedom so dangerous, he finished. Baldwin is making a profoundly psychological and even spiritual statement, not just a political or racial or social one. He knew, just as Lincoln knew, that the enemy is often us. We continue to shackle ourselves with chains we mistakenly think is freedom. And if I have learned anything over those years, it's that there's only us. There is no them. And whenever someone suggests to you, whomever it may be in your life, that there's a them, run away. Othering is the simplistic binary way to make and identify enemies, but it is also the surest way to your own self-imprisonment. Which brings me to a moment I've dreaded and forces me to suspend my long-standing attempt at neutrality. There is no real choice this November. There is only the perpetuation, however flawed and feeble you might perceive it, of our fragile 249-year-old experiment, or the entropy that will engulf and destroy us if we take the other route. When, as Mercy Otis Warren would say, the checks of conscience are thrown aside and a deformed picture of the soul is revealed. The presumptive Republican nominee is the opioid of all opioids, an easy cure for what some believe is the solution to our myriad pains and problems, when in fact, with him, you end up re-enslaved with an even bigger problem, a worse affliction and addiction, a bigger delusion, James Baldwin would say, the author and finisher of our national existence, our national suicide, as Mr. Lincoln prophesies. Do not be seduced by easy equalization. There is nothing equal about this equation. We are at an existential crossroads in our political and civic lives. This is a choice that could not be clearer.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to click that notification bell so that you get notified on more